Welcome back to the Mad Sopranos Men Show. We're your hosts, Chris Brodhead and Michael Dennis. We're the most autistic Mad Men show on the internet. We're also the most autistic Sopranos show on the internet because we're analyzing both shows at the same time, one episode by episode. Right now we're smack dab in the middle of season 1, episode 8, and man, things are getting really great. These are some of the best episodes of the series. I absolutely love them. This week we're doing Down Neck and the Hobo Code. And Chris, man, how you doing over there in Spain?
Doing good. I don't think we were in our new apartment last time we talked. We got this
Correct.
sweet new pad. It's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, like basically on the Michigan Avenue of Barcelona. Like I can see like the Gucci store and the Saint Laurent and like all these fancy places I will never shop at. Uh right down the street from us. So Erica was very excited, and our place is it's furnished and tastefully decorated. And it was only, double what I said our maximum was to pay for rent. So feeling good. Not my back pain and hamstring pain has nothing to do with my financial worries here.
Those things are never connected.
Never.
Are those are two different parts of your body. Why would they even be in conflict in any way with each other? Yeah, congratulations
Exactly.
on the new place. And yeah, right on budget, right on 2x
Mhm.
budget.
Mhm. Yep, my wife's like, "Hey, I'm gonna quit my job, so we can move to Spain." I'm like, "Cool. I like the moving to Spain part." And she's like, "Yeah, so, we can be super chill about the apartment." I'm like, "All right, we're paying 1,700 a month in Pasadena on 2 incomes. Let's try to keep it around 2,000." She's like, "Got it. $3,400."
Oh Jesus. Oh man. Yeah, that's well above anything I ever paid. The most I ever paid was for our townhouse in Chicago, and that was like 2,100 a month.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't know who to blame, but, the inflation is just like money is worth nothing these
yeah,
days.
it's worth nothing. It's worth absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not like fretting about it or caring about it. It's all worth nothing anyway. Um, but yeah, man, yo, let's
Insanity.
hop right into this. I'm really excited about these 2 episodes. I got my
Me too.
Furio and Tony Go Golfing shirt on
Dude,
today.
killer
Uh,
shirt.
these are 2 of my favorites of the entire series. I think this is the first time that both episodes I think are really top 10 level. There's so much going on in both of them.
Mhm.
Chris, what are your kind of thoughts on these 2?
Dude, just overall, like, I've seen both these episodes multiple times now, probably the Mad Men one at least 10 times. There's something magical, it seems, about us just going through looking for similarities because I'm noticing things I've never fucking noticed before.
Yeah.
For example, Don gets the bonus check from Cooper, and he thinks he's getting fired. He's like, pretty concerned about it. Gets the bonus check, and then he's in the meeting with the annoying client, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, do this or get the fuck out of my office. And
Yeah, he just starts firing off.
and you're like, as a viewer, my last 9 viewings of this is like, oh, here we go. Don does this all the time. And then there's a
Mhm.
throwaway line at the end where like Don's never done that before. And I was like, he did that because he got the check from Cooper, and Cooper's saying like, we appreciate everything you're doing here. You're the fucking man.
Yeah, and not just that, but, like, you and I are the same, we are kindred spirits in this journey. I mean, talk about, like, having the freedom in that moment to do whatever you wanted at work and just let it rip. And I in that scene particular, I love when Don's like, "You either know about Jesus or you don't." And they cut to Freddie, and then also, Ken is just sitting there with the cigarette hanging out of his
He's
mouth like,
like,
it looks like he's about to have a heart attack just right then and there. Uh,
yeah. No, that
I
was a very risky line, I think. And Don
yeah,
was just like cocaine high on his own supply there.
yeah, and he even follows through with it to the very end. He's like, when the client says something like, "Oh, well, let's see if this plan of yours will work," and Don's like, "Not like we'll ever get to find out," implying like he's too much of a coward to actually follow through with what Don suggested, or I mean, that's how I took that. because he just follows it through all the way to the end. Um, let's start off kind of at the top here. On Mad Men, I love Peggy comes in early in the morning, bright and early, and gets herself some.
Man, if that was part of showing up to the office early, I may have, gotten there
Yeah, I might
before
have never
9.
showed up at the office.
That's how these modern, behemoth companies can, get this return to office to work. It's like, just come and you can get a little.
Yeah, yeah, you can just have sex in your gray pathetic cubicle.
And then your wife will sit on the same spot a few
Yeah,
hours later.
yeah, I was watching that, with my wife last night. I was like, "Hold on, watch right here. I love this little thing Pete does. When he flips over the cushion so no one sits in the wet spot." Um,
Classic.
yeah, we're on Mad Men right now. Another kind of thing I noticed, we're introduced to Don, uh, and the last shot of Don are the exact same in this
Mhm.
episode. He
Mhm.
comes into the office, we are hanging right over his shoulder as he approaches the door. Heavy focus on the silhouette, the logo of the show, the name on the door. Even Peggy, who walks up and addresses him in each intro and outro, is kind of out of focus as he approaches, as he walks in. Like you said, noticing stuff I've never noticed before. I've always noticed that closing shot a million times, and I love it as we fade out on the door and who is Don Draper. But I never realized that that's how we enter the episode too. Very,
Mhm.
very, very cinematic. I love that bookend.
Mhm. I feel like this particular watch through, accompanied with Sopranos and deeply looking for overlaps is making me, notice things I'd never noticed before. Like, my first few viewings through Mad Men, I was like, "Oh, Don's just he's kinda fully formed from the get-go."
Yeah,
And seeing this, like, no, we're seeing this person being created in front of us. Like, this is
yeah,
not a real person. I mean, obviously, we're watching a show, but, like, D Dick Whitman himself is inventing this person in front of our very eyes.
yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I've here in my notes about Don and Christopher each kind of growing into who they are and into their
Mhm.
complexities in these
Mhm.
episodes. You mentioned last week how many great lines were in that episode of Mad Men, and I think
That's
this,
gotta be the top, like, just, like, great, like, mic drop lines of any episode of any show of all time.
yeah, I think these two episodes both have a lot of them in here. Um, for instance, The Sopranos, we get the little sad rant of Christopher when Paulie comes over and he's like, "You ever think nothing good was ever gonna happen to you? Yeah, nothing did ever did. So what?" Over on Mad Men, there is no big lie. The universe isn't different. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Christopher and the
Wow.
regularness of everyday life is just way too hard for me.
Mhm.
Um, one line that I liked about Christopher complaining about his script not being fully fleshed out, and it made me think of a lot of the client work you and I have done in the past, where Chris is like, "I bought this computer thinking it would do most of the work." And how
What?
many
It's on
times
the
have we had
computer, just do it.
yeah, how many times have we had suggestions to change, like, not 99% of something, and the response is basically like, "Well, it's on the computer." You just go doop, 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 and then it's done, right, fellas? Um, Tony's rant in the car to Chris, where he's like, "Georgie comes into the bar. He's got vomit all over his shirt. You're out there digging up bodies. Shut up, shut up!" And he's just telling him to shut up like every 5 seconds. When he goes on the rant to Melfi, and he's like, "Well, this
Trying
is
to
what it's
get
all
caught.
about, motherfucking cocksucking money." I've done that rant plenty of times. These two
Um,
episodes are firing off.
Dude, yeah, 100% agreed. I noticed, an eerie similarity. I mean, obviously, we are hammers right now, and every similarity, no matter how much of a stretch, is a nail. But I think this one is at least pretty fun. Um there's hurt feelings in both episodes that end with throwing money in the other person's face.
Oh yeah,
Don Don and his side piece, she won't go to Paris with him, so he signs the check over and just shoves it down her blouse. And
yeah,
like you just mentioned, Tony yelling at Melfi and just throwing a bunch of money in her face.
yeah, yeah. They both handle the women in their life who are not being agreeable by just throwing a bunch of cash.
They're side women.
Yeah, yeah. They're number two. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you talked about everything being everything looking like a nail, and we're just hammers right now.
Mhm.
In that spirit, I wrote here a similarity in both episode. Both shows feature characters speaking in Italian
Dude,
because
coincidence?
we
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because we get Salvatore and his mom, and that whole arc with him.
Dude,
Um,
okay, me and, Erica watches every, Mad Men episode with me because it's her favorite show of all time, and she's like, "Oh," she gets super excited to watch it again. And, she's just, like, dying to herself. She's like, "How do these women not know that Sal is, like, queer as a $3 bill?"
yeah,
And I was like, "I don't know if anyone even knew that was a thing in the '60s." Like, how like, that would be like knowing someone's a space alien now.
yeah. And then 30 years, you're like, how didn't you know that guy was a space alien? There were all the signs that were there, and it's like, yeah, well, we didn't have our antennas up for it.
We
We
weren't
never
looking
thought it was
for
we
that.
never thought it was an option.
We were just in the we were in the truck stop, just waiting for the 3 knocks.
No, I think I mentioned something to you about in an earlier episode. Just like he's just dripping with it, and I can't believe it's anyone was shocked that Freddie Mercury was gay. I mean, look at that dude. Look at how he performed on stage. He's the lead singer of a band named Queen. Please don't tell me like you this was a shock to you in the world.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like it just wasn't up. But yeah, I have that listed here. I didn't have a and when talking about A, B, and C story, I didn't have a C story for The Sopranos because we have Chris's identity crisis and then kind of the indictments coming down. Over on Mad Men, we have Don, his flashback, Pete and Peggy, and then my C story over on Mad Men is Sal's secret admirer. That starts off with the
Mhm,
lady in the control panel, and then we end up with the gentleman in the high end bar.
mhm.
Yeah,
So, like, just finishing the no one having any gaydar in the '60s, like, you can kind of understand why this girl would have no idea, because she
yeah,
seems like a bit, uh, I don't know,
flighty.
innocent or, like,
Yeah,
she's not had a lot of experience in life. She, works in a closet as like a switch operator, which looks like the
yeah,
worst fucking job of all time.
yeah,
Can't
yeah.
imagine doing
You're
that
you're
for
like picture a cubicle, but you're just doing this all day, and it's a closet, and everyone's smoking in there.
yeah. Dude, people did that for their entire careers. Can you fucking imagine?
Oh no, I can't. So if I was a woman in that scenario and that was my job, like my only goal would be to be like as in good a shape as I possibly could to land a man to get me out of this closet.
Yeah, you're straight. I'm getting out of this
I don't
closet.
care. I'm just getting out of the ironically, I'm getting out of this closet one way or another, whether it's with a gay man or it's not.
Whether it's with someone who's also in a closet or not.
A
Um,
metaphorical closet, physical closet, I don't care. I've got to get out of here.
so I can sort of understand her. Like she's just very naive and unexperienced. But like his
She
two,
also has never been around him in person. She just hears his voice,
yeah.
stops by his
But even
office.
hearing his voice, you're like, that dude. Let's just say he prefers the company of men.
Who doesn't?
And but the dudes that work right next to him, the bald guy with glasses and like the guy that looks like the dude from Superman who like delivers newspapers or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say Shelton from, Big Bang Theory. But yeah, he
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, he looks like Jimmy Olsen. they're both, like, getting pumped. They're like, "Fucking Sal, you're so getting it wet tonight, bro."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're so excited for him.
What? Dude, you guys work with this guy, like, 10 hours a day for the last, like, 5 years or whatever. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. You and I would have walked in on day one and met Sal in like 2 seconds, been like, "Well, box checked." Like,
And, like and then he's arguing, with him, and they're like, you know, you dress so well." And he's like, "You don't need to make the money to dress this well." And then he just, like, throws it down all
like, ta-da,
fabulous. It's
ta-da.
like, sashay.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was in the '60s and I'd never met anyone, I didn't even know gay was a thing, I'd be like, "He's not interested in her. He's not interested
Something
in any
else.
hers."
At least it would be like something else is going on here.
I'm pretty
Uh,
sure he's a space alien.
yeah, I think he's an alien, guys. Like, we're working with an alien man. No, no, it's so funny. I mean, Vito was 1,000 times more discreet than Sal is.
Mm. Dude, I still like, I know that Vito's gay because I've seen later episodes of Sopranos, and I have no fucking clue. I'm not even sure the writers, like, were sure he was gay
I
early
I
on.
don't think they decided that until going into season 4 because that's when he gets caught um
The gay
at the
bar?
campsite. No, he gets caught at the construction site first thing in the morning
Oh.
by Finn, Meadows' boyfriend. It's not until season 6 that that really pays off. Like,
Mm.
that's that they decided then, but I don't think they knew where they were going with it yet.
Mhm. Um, uh, Another thing, you know, looking at these episodes through a microscope, just how much seeds are planted in these
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
Like, they're all dancing in the bar, and, I always forget his fucking name. What's the TV, uh, guy's name with the glasses? He's like the
Oh,
portlier
oh, yeah, I
one.
know who you're talking about. I always forget his
Yeah.
name too.
He's dancing with Pete's secretary, who he has he has a affair with, what, like 2 seasons later?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and they start to develop him as, like, a low-level horn dog very
Yeah.
early on.
Mhm.
Um, one of my favorite lines from last night, was from him talking about, Pete's wife, and he was like, "Do they ever stop wanting things?" I just Jenny was sitting next to me, I just smack her on the leg, and I'm like, "The answer is no."
Yeah. And there's another throwaway line, where they're talking about getting to the bar early, and they're like, for a party, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, Freddie's already there. He didn't even know there was a party."
Yeah, and while he's dancing with Peggy, he bends over, like, bow to her and spills his drink. Like, they're starting
Yeah.
to set up him being just a total drunk. Uh,
Yeah.
you talk setting stuff up. I would argue Chris's line about the fucking regularness of everyday life and him not being able to handle that defines his entire character.
Mm,
And that line, you can draw a straight line from that quote to Christopher staring at the homeless family when he immediately decides to turn his back on Adriana and have her whacked and stay in the life. Like,
mm,
those two bookends are Christopher in a nutshell.
mhm. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that may be, like, the deepest, similarity of these 2 shows is just how masterfully they plant these little seeds that you do not notice consciously
Yeah.
until you just hone your autism to its absolute zenith, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. You just sharpen that blade, man, just constantly.
so you weaponize it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally
Um,
weaponized. Um, oh, I have a question for you.
so
Did Dick Whitman's mom, wanna fuck that hobo? I was picking up on some vibes there.
yeah.
That she's very welcome and opening, and for a woman who's, like, as ice cold as that character is, that I felt that was really odd, and I'm like, "I think she's gonna bang this hobo."
Yeah. I'm not sure if I noticed that. I did pick up on her, uh, obviously she's mad at people that have sex with prostitutes because that's how she got Dick Whitman,
Yes.
from her husband. And there was some line, I forget what he said, and she sort of gave him a look like, "Yeah, of course you are, you son of a whore."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, and then, I like later on when Dick's talking to the hobo and he's like, "Ain't you heard I'm a whore child?" As though, like, that everyone on planet Earth would know that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that was
Oh,
rough.
I thought of us and I thought of The Simpsons, when Peggy comes in to get her congratulatory drink,
Oh, dude, yes.
and
I have a lot
and
written about that scene.
yeah, yeah, and they're like, do you want another?" "Well, you are a writer, you're
"You
arrogant."
are a
And then
writer, all right."
yeah, yeah, and then he's like, do you want another drink?" "No, thanks." "Well, you're not a writer." "Huh, you're a writer, all right." Yeah.
"I came to get my Harvard ma
Yep, yeah, I was having a lot of flashbacks on
here's
there.
here's your check. I want another one. You are a writer, all right." Okay, no, that scene to me was like the most revolutionary, like, 2001 transition from the bone to the nuclear spaceship
Yeah,
in space. It was like even today that would be hard to do. Like there's a boys club, just these like misogynistic, super successful, high powered business dudes in a closed door office drinking scotch, celebrating a sale. And they
yeah,
invite a woman who was a secretary like 2 weeks ago
yeah,
and give her a drink and celebrate her. And it's
yeah,
not forced and it's not fake and it's not stupid or brave or whatever the fuck, most movies try to shove down our throats. And you're just like,
yeah,
holy fuck, did something like this actually happen? Like,
yeah,
because
and
this
you're
is
right about that too.
incredible.
It's in contrast to so much we see now where it feels so forced, and it's like, instead of showing us, they tell us. They're telling us that Rey is the greatest Jedi ever, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the development, so it all falls flat. None of this feels forced. None of this feels, um, like you said, cynical or pushed beyond. As you mentioned earlier, so many little nuggets are put into the show, and you may not notice it, but your brain did. And I
Mhm.
think that speaks to a moment like this that pays off, that when you're watching it, you're like, "Oh, this feels natural. This feels earned. This feels like a progression and maybe a big jump, but it doesn't feel like it's unwarranted." Where other pieces of entertainment, other pieces of art, and a lot of stuff pushed out nowadays does not earn it. And you simply
Mhm.
go from Peggy's first day. It would have been, if you did this now, it'd be like Peggy's first day as a secretary, and then the next, literally by the end of that day, they bring her in and not just give her a glass uh, and toast to her. They each pop a bottle and rain it down inside, and then come out into the office and tell everyone that she's the new head copywriter. Like that's how it would be done now.
She's the owner of the building.
Yeah, yeah, now it's Sterling, Cooper, Draper, Peggy. Like that's the
After one day.
and yeah, and Cooper would just quit and be
Mhm.
like, "She's the best ever, what can I say?" And, like, he would just walk out the door at the end of her first day. Like, that's the equivalent of it.
Yeah. Exactly. And this, this is portraying in the 60s. I'm sure something like this happened because I think that's why they were interested in this time period because there was such a massive transition. And
Yeah,
then, this show came out in 2007, right? Wasn't that when this
yeah,
season
yeah.
premiered? So it's like no one gave a shit because we weren't looking for that. And now it's like that's all we care about and no one's trying to do it good.
No, no, not at
Like
all. You
we
just gotta
did this
check the
good
box.
without even needing to.
We got there already. I was listening to something today, and they were talking about, Spawn in the '90s,
Mhm.
and
I was obsessed with Spawn toys.
and Spawn was one of those, those creations. I had a bunch of Spawn toys too, but boy, those are worth a lot nowadays. Um, but
I
it was
dude,
like
I bought a Malabulgia because I did some, uh,
yeah,
some sort of I did hypnotherapy, and I healed, some trauma from middle school, and
okay.
when I was done healing it, I was just like, "I want Spawn toys," 'cause I was obsessed with Spawn, and I remember
Yeah,
when I was in 6th grade, the Malabulgia or Malabulgia, or how the fuck you say it, that was, like, the
yeah,
rarest toy, and he was
yep,
this big
yep.
fucking, like, demon-looking dude,
Yeah,
and
it
you
was in
could
the
never
box, it was all
yeah.
bent up.
Dude, you can never find him. The only place I ever found him was my comic book shop, and he was like 120 bucks. And I
Yep,
was like, "I have whatever it costs to buy that right now." Do you know how much it costs on eBay?
like
Like
$3,
30 years
maybe,
later?
maybe
Still
$2.
still in the box. $25.
Oh, wow, I thought it was just gonna be like, we'll pay it's $1 and we'll pay the shipping. That's what I thought it was gonna be worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like,
it was like
man, what
but
idiots we were.
what they were talking about, yeah, I wish my dad would've just bought some stock of some kind, just bought
Dude,
the
if
S&P 500.
if you would've just spent 10% of the money I spent on toys or, my parents' money that I spent on toys, I would be retired right now.
I know, yeah, we both would. I would've paid cash for the house.
Damn you
Uh,
parents letting us buy the things we wanted.
but it was one of those, things where it was like, at times, Spawn was one of those shows and creations at the time where it was like, this is the hot new show in the world, and guess what? The star of it, he's black." It's like, I really don't care, like, that's fine.
Dude,
You
I
better
don't
not
even
care. It's like,
I
"No,
don't
we
think
don't.
people
It's
even
fine."
cared about that wasn't even, like, factored into Spawn.
No.
Like, I'm sure there was and the guy that made it was, like, a white Canadian.
And just like a weirdo.
Yeah. Dude, look, if you go back and read the Spawn comics, like, they look awesome and, like, the frames are super cool, but the story is absolute dog shit slash non-existent. There's no story.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Alright, he's gonna be upside down with, like, chains and, like, half of
Oh,
it's
yeah,
black."
Lane's tripping on him, and yeah.
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 No. Dude, because like, when I was excited, I was like, "Oh, I wanna go back and read those." And I couldn't, I couldn't find any that I liked, and I finally found this YouTube video that was like, "Spawn comics are terrible."
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Getting back to similarities, I have here written Father and Tintola. This is our hobo, our key hobo.
Oh, yeah.
Um, you know, Christopher, there's a lot in this episode that gets to the heart of Christopher and who he is. And there's a lot in this episode that gets to the heart of Dick Whitman and
Mhm.
everything that drives him, that fuels him. Just the idea of this hobo coming in, and that's who Don in a lot of way turns himself into, is this guy he wants to be able to come and go, and who
Yeah.
isn't held down, who wants to get away from this, whatever situation he's in, he wants to be able to leave it at any time.
Mhm.
Like, that's the
I was
ultimate
dude,
version of a hobo.
I never I feel like an idiot. I'm like, "How did I not connect this conversation?" This is like a core foundational memory for Don
Yeah,
Draper, for Dick Whitman. Just
yeah,
just like, you know, to be the the free man or whatever,
yeah,
to
yeah,
go full
to not be bound. And,
yeah,
how many times in that show does he just leave and walk away?
yeah,
And, you know, I love that. I love Father Intentola's hobo speech about, uh, he's like, I just come and go as I please. I used to have all this stuff, but it was wearing me down. It was killing me. Like,
yeah,
there wasn't any joy in it. Like, why? He's like, I I sleep under the stars. I sleep in the rain, but I sleep like a stone because
mhm,
I'm not bound by this. And as a little boy,
yeah,
hearing that and being in that awful place, those awful parents, you have to hear that and just be like, I'm gonna go hobo and get out of here.
yeah, and I love that he said, like, "I had a wife and I had kids and I had a mortgage," and I was like, did we have mortgages in the 30s? Like,
I'm
I feel
certain, yeah,
like
you
that
bought.
was a line for us.
Yeah, it probably didn't. Well, I bet the the interest wasn't as high, but that you weren't able to pay full cash for a house anyway. Because even in that's a big part of the plot in It's a Wonderful Life is so many of there's the building and loan that he runs, which
Mhm,
helps a lot of the families in town build their own houses.
mhm,
So yeah, there was some sort of setup like that.
mhm.
Oh,
I
oh,
I Yo, go
here's a
ahead.
little thing I noticed. Chris's script that he's working on is called Made Man,
Ah.
which I think is cute. We're just one letter off from Mad Men right there.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Made man. Nice. Um, I found it interesting that Father Intintola, he's always getting free meals
Mhm.
in both, Sopranos and
Oh,
Mad Men.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
Yeah,
idea. He's a welcher everywhere.
yeah.
He plays that role
And
well.
ironically, it seemed like, he was not a believer in Mad Men. He was, he did not have Jesus in his heart.
No, no, he does kind of say that he's not religious, but he's also not a communist. Yeah, I made sure to drive that home that he's not a communist.
There was a lot of, seemingly random anti-communist rhetoric in the Mad Men episode.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Where the
That
fuck
was
is this coming from?"
we had a lot of talk with the lousy beatniks and Don sticking it to those guys.
And Flo from Progressive commercials yelling at the naive girl not to sign up for the bowling team.
Yeah, yeah, because they're monitoring
"What's
everything
a
they do.
bowling team?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Um, oh, and the father in Tintola said he was from New York as well in
Mhm.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how, uh, Brad Pitt's characters are, like, related in Inglourious Bastards and, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah. I have seen that.
It's like, the that's like his grandpa or something.
Yeah, supposed to be all in the same universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're watching
Um,
the '30s, the '60s, and the '90s.
mhm. Our new progressive, as this show progresses.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I had any other.
Oh, dude, okay, I got the ultimate question for these 2 episodes together, um, and probably be the title of the episode. Is it harder for gangsters to talk about their mental health or '60s businessmen to talk about being gay?
Ooh. Um, this gets back to something that, I think we've talked about a couple times, is that both of them result in your death and your
Yes.
banishment. Like, you're gone either way.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go from this world either way. As that plays out, at least, you know, at least when Sal gets fired in season 3, he's not murdered, but well, like Vito is. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think just because at least they're left with their life, their actual physical life to kind of drag along. In Mad
Mhm.
Men, it's not as bad. Where in Sopranos, they are going to actually kill you. So I think by just that much, it's worse in Sopranos, but
Yeah.
but not by much, not by
Um,
much.
and I will say, I feel like there's a seed planted here that makes Sal's demise, less painful and potentially like a good thing. Sal says, I often dream about just stealing a copywriter and starting my own shop.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, well, you're gonna refuse to sleep with the biggest client in 2 seasons, and then, I'm guessing that's why you had that line in there because that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's giving him the option.
Mhm,
Um, but talking about similarities, that's one. On The Sopranos, there are a lot of times that a character just leaves and we don't get resolution. I feel like that's what you get with Sal. You never see him ever again. We never, the last we see of him is him headed to Central Park to go cruising, for lack of a better word, and then that's it. And
mhm.
he's done with us from after that.
Yeah. And can we just take a moment to, uh, just express our awe at the other guys' just expertise at figuring out how to, in front of everyone, tell Sal exactly where to meet him.
Yeah, it's very clandestine.
Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck, dude? That guy
yeah.
is a master of, like, saying exactly what everyone hears and then getting to, you know, do what he wants.
Well, not to, well, hold on. Getting back to our original topic of the dudes or people in that time period not knowing if anyone was gay. That dude certainly knows in that room who's gay. Like his gaydar is working fine, and whether you want to go back to that idea of if you got it, you spot it.
Uh,
Maybe that's what it is. But he's by the pitch he gives Sal in the restaurant and how he handles himself in that room. This clearly isn't his first time. He knows how to navigate these waters. Oh, I do have written down here. I used to say this on occasion. I don't as much anymore, but I love the line where the dude in the bar is like, "I'm already 2 ahead of you, and if I don't eat something, I'm going to continue, waxing rhapsodically." I just love how he puts that up. "If I don't eat something, then I'm going to continue to rhapsodize." I've said it more than once, and that just goes right over. That just goes right over.
yeah. Yeah, I was just, I never, I mean, again, like, I never connected, like, I remembered them having the interaction at the bar and then like, "Okay, yeah, this is something 2 straight guys do, we'll just grab a quick dinner together. You know, we're
You and I
drinking,
are
we
just
gotta."
watch you and I are watching this like, "What's the problem? What's the big deal?"
These 2 immaculately dressed men who
Mhm.
are perfect head to toe in
Yes.
their preparation.
Yeah, and then and he also leads in with like, "I'm not one of those types of guys who goes home to the wife at the end of the day." Oh, that's right. Johnny over there, he's a confirmed bachelor.
Yeah, that was, dang.
Yeah, but really great, really great stuff this week, man. I
Mhm.
I love these 2. I think these are 2 top 10s for me.
Okay, I have another overlap.
Okay.
Uh, there were themes of going away unannounced in both episodes. Tony's telling Melfi like, "Hey, if I don't show up, it's because I chose to go on vacation."
Yeah,
And it's like,
a vacation I don't know that's gonna happen, or I might not even go on it. I have to go on it.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, Don's is his choice, and Tony, I mean, he claims it's his choice, but
Yeah,
I just found that an interesting overlap.
yeah, and just the whole idea of just the hobo and leaving. And oh yeah,
Mhm.
well maybe that's the overarching theme of both episodes is leaving and the
Mm,
preparation of leaving, the desire to leave or the need to leave w- with the indictments, with even Christopher wanting to, get into movies and find something else to do, going over to Mad Men. We have the entire plot with the hobo, informing of Don who he's going to become. We also have Don in modern day wanting to leave and go to Paris and
mm,
let's get out of here. Um, even Pete, he doesn't want to be in the bar with Peggy. Like he wants to leave with Peggy. And when his wife stops by the office, he wants his wife to leave. He sends her packing right away. Those are the overarching themes of this episode. It's you gotta go. It's time to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yep.
And as an only child who's moved multiple times, I get it. I get it.
Um,
So
oh, I had a question for you. Do you ever, wake up, from an overnight drunk in a suit sleeping in your three-year-old's room?
no, but I have gone in at various states of intoxication and just kind of like stared at them and and I have gone in to like give him a hug and it kind of like wakes him up. I'm like, no, it's okay. Just go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. That line from The Simpsons is true, where Marge is hugging Bart. He's like, "You can hug me in my sleep," and she's like, "I do." So, um, but no, I've never fallen asleep in there. But also because in my, I think one reason is because until recently, my oldest one, they were both in cribs. There's nowhere for me to sleep. I just like to sleep on the floor. Ivy's got a full size
Mm.
bed now, so maybe
Mm.
that's more in play. That I go out and get loaded with a bunch of beatniks and come home and pass out in the same bed with her.
Uh,
Another great line in this is when he's trying to leave the
mhm.
apartment, and they're like, "The cops, you can't go out there, man. You can't." And he just leaves. He just walks out right by him.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's
No,
great.
there were some great lines in the beatnik scene. The guy who his side piece is in love with, he's like, "Man, you are good with the words, man." And
Yeah,
Don just goes,
yeah, they just
"Well put."
yeah. It's just really just on point with it. Um,
Yeah.
I have a meeting this afternoon to meet with my local kind of city administrator where I grew up because they want to put
Mhm.
on like a film festival and they know kind of my history now and want some of my help on this. And I was watching that entire episode last night and I'm just like, how can I go into that meeting tomorrow and just blow everyone away with everything I say at every step of it? I really got to put on my inner Don and pull out the look. You have Jesus in your heart or you don't. Do I have that in me today? Do I have that line in me? That's gonna be a fine line to walk.
Nice. You said it was a film festival?
They want to do a film festival. Yeah, yeah. Our little town is well connected and has a lot of money. And they want to find some stuff to bring in some new people and some new revenue streams. Apparently,
Mhm.
it's something they've been hovering around doing for a few years now. And I've
Mm.
gone to a couple, like, business meetings and just kinda chatted with a few people, and they were like, "Well, this might be perfect for you." So,
Mhm.
I
Well,
go,
I have the name for you already. Flim Cincinnati.
"Yeah." But, yeah, I know, right? That's I going into this in preparation, I was like, "I have 3 really good ideas, and then I have 10 hilarious ideas. Which one do we want first? Do we want the real ideas? Well, if I wanna blow everyone away, I really should sit on the funny ideas for now."
I
I'll
don't
make
need a
that a bit
flashy ad or even
yeah,
correct spelling.
you don't even need that. No, not at all. Um, any other thoughts on these episodes, man?
They're both great episodes. I have sub characters trying to write. Both Christopher and Peggy are trying
Yeah,
to write.
yeah,
I have this one. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Pete is jealous of Peggy, and Christopher is jealous of Brandon Falone because they both feel like they created the other to some
yeah. Ooh,
extent.
that's a good one. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They feel even though even though Pete has no claim to that.
Mhm.
All he did was sleep with her. He never read her copy. He never helped her with anything. He didn't actually help her in any way,
Yeah.
but he does feel ownership. Oh, I had a note here in the first scene of the episode where right before um they start to hook up in Pete's office.
Mhm,
I wrote down they each feel like children to me. Like they feel so like little and so young in that scene before
mhm,
they start going at it again. And I don't know whether like their discussion in the elevator, I don't know whether it's the lighting or something, but they felt just like children to me, and especially kind of in the shadow of Don and of this company and of, this world. I suppose they are the children of it, but
mhm.
that was one thing that kind of struck me.
I mean, also just the show goes on for, what, like 8 or 9 years? Like, they look significantly older by the end of it, so
Yeah.
watching them here, they look like fucking kids.
Yeah, Pete loses like all of his hair. Peggy becomes like a modern woman. Yeah, they're just like it's interesting, just like Tony evolves and his looks change, but Don's don't. Don sticks with what works, man. Don't screw that thing up.
Well, Don had the look down from the get-go, but it seems like his, like, god ego in the boardroom, we're getting to see that develop,
Yeah, yeah,
unfold.
yeah, and especially, culminating with the wheel and the carousel at the end of this season. I think
Mhm.
that's really where it comes together.
Yeah. And just to put a bow on our, gaydar talk, I would say not a person in that office, mate but outside of Cooper, knows that Sal's gay except for Don. I think Don is aware that those guys are gay.
Um, well, he learns it for sure in the beginning of season 3.
Mhm.
Um, and
Well,
then
because Don when Sal says, "Oh, the Lucky Strike guy made a move on me," he's like, "Well, what'd you do?" He's like, "Oh, I turned him out." He's like, "Why would you do that?"
yeah. Well, remember he catches him in the act. He catches him going
Mhm.
down that when he's going down the elevator shaft in that hotel, and he sees
Oh,
Sal
that's right, that's
in the
right.
hotel room with that guy. So
Yeah.
that's how Don learns for sure, and
Mhm.
then Joan learns for sure when he kisses her.
Mhm.
I think that um I think that might be the end of this season. It's either the end
Mhm.
of this season or it's next year during uh the election night with Kennedy
Mhm.
and Nixon. They have a party and they read us what's his name script.
Yeah, okay, I
So
think you're right. So I don't yeah, you've convinced me. I don't think anyone knows except for that
no,
other gay guy.
yeah, yeah, and he once again, if you got it, you spot it. I think that's yeah, just like that's he starts putting it down. I'll be in I'll be in the hotel bar all night, Mr. Thompson. Stop, stop, stop.
I think he's talking to you, Sal.
Sal, he's talking to you very specifically.
Uh, yeah. Oh, I got, one of my favorite lines in, both of these series. "You put a moonroof in the back of his head."
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Um, but no, getting back to that rant that Tony does in the car, it's just so good. And as a parent, I feel like I channeled that, but not to that degree, plenty of times. Where he's just like, "You came in here and you did this, you screwed up, but I shut up." And then you went, then you did this, but I shut up, but I had to do it for the shut up. No, no, we're done. We're done. I'm not listening to anything you have to say.
Shut
Oh yeah, and he's like, "I wipe my ass with your feelings." That's a good one too. That's a good one.
Yeah.
too.
Alright, there were 2 wipe your ass lines. The beatnik goes, "I wipe my ass with the Wall Street Journal," and yeah,
And Tony does it with Chris's feelings.
yeah.
That's hilarious. You're a
Ah.
writer, all right.
Yeah, I think that's everything for me.
Awesome. Well, I wish we could close this episode with like you and I walking towards our fancy office door with very cinematically and
Mhm.
then close it behind us. a la Don Draper in this, but maybe we'll just edit that in at the very end.
There you go.
Chris, another good one, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This was I think I found the most, similarities of any episode so far, so hopefully, this keeps up. Hopefully
Yeah,
we're continued, to be this good at bullshitting.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can actually put it to good use one day.
I'm sure we can.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.
So, yeah. Good job by you.
Bye, bye, you, buddy.